So this is our final lecture. I'm going to talk about the exam for KIT102, Introduction to Data Science. Here we are on our content map. We are looking at the exam. So I'm going to look at the structure of the exam and the content of the exam. I'm not going to tell you what's actually on the exam. I'll just tell you things that you should study. Okay, the structure of the exam is perhaps a bit different from previous years, but it's still a 2-hour exam with 15 minutes of reading time. It is closed book. You cannot take any items into the exam. You can't take a cheat sheet into the exam. And you can't take your phone or a watch, a smartwatch. You can take a watch. The exam has 120 marks available, and since it goes for 120 minutes, you can allocate 1 mark per minute. This is a good strategy because it means you don't spend too much time on any one question. So do bring your watch. Remember, it's easy to pass. It's much more difficult to get a high distinction. But if you time it correctly, then you should be able to get enough marks to pass each question. Section A is fill in the blanks. It's worth 25 marks. Section B is short answer questions and it's worth 35 marks. And section C is in-depth questions and it's worth 60 marks. The section A questions need to be written in the answer sheet that is attached at the back of the exam paper. The rest of the answers you'll write into your exam booklet. The questions for the exam can come from anywhere in this unit, and that includes the lectures and the tutorials, and the videos and the readings. The section A questions will come from these areas of the unit. You're not going to have to write Excel, but you will need to know what the various symbols mean and what the jargon means. You won't have to write SQL code, but you will need to know some commands that you should already know after having done your assignment. There's a little bit of SQL theory regarding the language itself too. The XML is mainly about interpreting a tree in this section, but you will still have to know the symbols for document type definitions. You won't need to do mathematics for the probability and statistics part. You'll just need to know and understand the jargon. There are 3 questions in section B. The data visualization question will present you with a chart and you'll need to decide if it's misleading or not and provide reasons for what you think. The ER diagram question will show you an ER diagram and you'll need to describe what the ER diagram is saying. You'll need to explain the business rules that is described in the ER diagram. The XML question will present you with some XML document type definition, and you'll need to explain what parts of it mean and then write an XML document that meets the criteria from the DTD. You will need to draw an ER diagram based upon a scenario. This is a shorter scenario than in the assignment. However, the cues that I gave you in the assignment as to what the entities and relationships and attributes were are not in this case study. You're going to have to know what you're doing this time. And then you'll be given an ER diagram and you'll need to use the conversion algorithm on it. This is also much simpler than the assignment. I've provided you with what the basic steps of the conversion algorithm are in the question, so don't worry about remembering it, but you need to know how to use it though. And there's an essay which will be about 2 pages long and you'll write about big data. Okay, that's it. If you have any questions, send me an email. Evaluate is a system that we use for fixing units that were broken. In this unit, there were some terrible lectures. They were too long and not very interesting. The recorded versions of the lectures were recorded in the lecture theatres and they were pretty terrible too. Students didn't come to the lectures, the tutorials were poorly taught and marked on an almost random basis. And to try and fix those things, I was put in charge of this unit. The lectures are shorter, though some of them could still be more interesting. The lectures and the recordings are watched, not by everyone, but the numbers appear to be much better than last year. And the tutorials are very well attended, and the assessment is based upon what you've learned. This is what our quiz marks look like for this semester. My aim was for the quizz's average to be a credit, but it's actually a distinction. which perhaps means the quizzes were too easy. I've looked at several of the assignments now too, and makes me wonder if they're too easy as well. However, about 25% of the class failed last year, so these are good things. There have been many significant changes to this unit, and these changes occurred because the students last year did their evaluates. Now I'm asking for you to do your evaluates so that I can fix what we have for next semester and for next year. These are the things that I want to know: what you thought of the tutorial and the quiz in the same workshop. I want to know if you loved it or hated it or anything in between. I'm confident that the tutorials need refining and some of the quiz questions were terrible, but I can fix them. But what I want are your thoughts on the overall structure of the unit. In Hobart, your lecture situation was terrible. I'm really sorry for that, but I'd really like to hear about the lecture situation. You received many face-to-face lecturers, including me. You had me by recording and by video conference. Tell me what you thought, because the lecturer situation for next semester may not be getting any better. So please do your evaluates because I need your feedback. And then we're done. It's been great working with you this semester, and I'm semi-confident that we'll be doing it again in subsequent semesters. Okay, good luck with all your exams.